Anxiety feels like you're walking with like a group of friends, and you're walking down the street and they're all like going along, and you just stop and there's a wall, and you're like, what? Like your friends are just saying, well, why are you still standing there? Like, come with us, we're going somewhere. And it's like, I can't because there's a wall. And they don't understand that there really isn't a wall there, but you see the wall and you can't seem to jump over the wall.
It's not fun. When you think of anxiety, you normally hear it in a sentence like performance anxiety, and you feel people, they tell you about butterflies in the stomach, and but you just get out there and you do it and you feel fine. Well, it's like butterflies in your stomach every moment of your life, or in some of the most unpredictable times. It can really hold you back from doing a lot of things that you want to do because you don't want to be put into a new, unfamiliar situation and have this moment, this thing come after you, because you can't get away from it, and if you do try to get away from it, it'll follow you.
Anxiety started to affect me in grade 11. I was in my mass media class actually, and a boy in my class told me, Donna, why don't you go to the bathroom and kill yourself? You're so ugly, you're so fat, you're stupid, just go kill yourself. I went into the bathroom. I didn't kill myself, but I kind of thought about it for a long time. I'm like, what if I should kill myself? What if I am ugly? What if I am fat? And then I went home and I thought to myself, this isn't right. I shouldn't feel like this. I shouldn't feel overwhelmed with somebody telling me to kill myself. Like, who cares what other people think? But I cared.
Anxiety first affected me in grade 11. I was in a biology class. Funny enough, it had nothing to do with biology. Normally you'd immediately think biology and be like, oh, he had to cut a frog open or something and he passed out. No, it was nothing like that. It was the first couple of weeks. We had barely started doing anything, and I sat down, and halfway through the teacher's lecture, I kind of felt like, it feels different for people, but for me it felt, it felt kind of nauseating. It felt light, it made me feel lightheaded. And so that to me is, it's like, okay, I'm feeling sick. I think I might be sick. I don't know why I'm gonna be sick, but I should get out so I can do that in the bathroom. So I asked to leave and I went out and nothing happened. I came back in and it's like, okay, well that was weird. It happened the next day, and then the next day, gradually getting worse and worse, until there was a point where I just couldn't go back into that classroom because I knew whatever was happening, it would keep happening. Like, it was just kind of waiting for me to sit down. So I couldn't go back to that classroom, and I told my mom about it. And because I got anxiety from her, she immediately knew what it was. And she said, okay, I'm going to talk you through this, and we're going to take you out of biology because from what you're telling me, it's not going to work. So it was grade 11 when it first happened, and I missed most of my grade 11 first semester because of it. Originally I didn't know where to go and look for help. It's one of those things, it's like, oh, I'm just feeling sick, I'll just take something to settle my stomach, and then when I found out what it was, anxiety, and I told my mom about it, and she basically diagnosed it for me. She was the one who talked me through everything. She guided me through everything. She knew exactly how I was feeling. She knew exactly what it was because she'd been there, and she still had some moments like that. So every day I stayed home from school, she was there, making sure I was okay. Anytime we went out somewhere, I would always go out with her, and she'd make sure I was okay. And she went to the doctor with me, and she helped me get the medication for it. And she told me it was going to be okay and it would be better and it would ease it, and it did.
I went to a place called YouthLink in Scarborough. It's like, I went to my doctor first and he sent me there. It's like a non-for-profit place for children under 18 because back then I was younger. And it kind of helped, but not really. I mean, they mostly help people like pregnant teenagers and stuff like that. They do help some anxiety patients, but not as much as like places like CAMH. So I did go to CAMH for a little bit, and that helped me a lot. My parents reacted really badly to me saying I had anxiety and depression issues. They thought there's no such thing as anxiety, it doesn't exist, there's nothing wrong with you, you're just a little bit crazy. And I guess maybe they were kind of right.
To ease the anxiety, before, when it was happening and I didn't have any way to deal with it, I just slept. I just slept all day because I was asleep, I was knocked out, nothing could get to me. That's all I did. But as I was medicated for it and I started to go out more and I started to start to relive my life, I always found sanctity in music. I always found that I could put my music in my ears, and then the lyrics would come to me, and I would think about the lyrics beforehand, or I'd think about just whatever the music was. That would always help me. And then I started playing guitar, and that was really good because you're playing guitar and that's what you're doing in the moment. You have to focus on what you're doing. You can't really be thinking about anything else. You have to be thinking where you want your fingers to go next. You have to be thinking about keeping time and tempo. And so when I'm playing guitar, it's nothing else bothers me. It's super easy to forget about everything else. So music in general was the biggest saving grace for me.
To ease my anxiety, I run a lot. I think that running really helps. Running is like a drug for me. A lot of people take various anxiety medications, and I used to take anxiety medication for a long time, and then I started post-secondary, and I'm like, I can't take these pills. I can't be dependent on pills for the rest of my life. So I quit taking the pills cold turkey, and I started running, and I started off running like 1K, 2K, 3K, and then now I run 10K every morning before I go to school, before I go to work. And if I don't run, I can't function. Like, running is like a drug.
Presently, I'm doing so much better than I was many years ago. The pills really help me a lot. It builds up in your brain over time, and it numbs the sensation. It doesn't get rid of it completely. I still have moments every now and again. But I've had it and I've been working with it for, over 5 years now, and so I've established coping mechanisms, and I know what I have to do to make myself feel better. I either excuse myself, or I catch a breath, or I just kind of chill out for a second and put my music on. I know what to do to cope with it, and of course I always have support from my friends and from my family, so I'm doing a lot better now.
Right now I'm doing a lot better than I was doing, say, 4 or 5 years ago. I'm glad I didn't start taking medication or continue to take medication throughout the course of my anxiety. I have a lot of good people around me. I kind of got rid of the people in my life that were hindering the anxiety and like put negative thoughts into my head. And that's kind of the big thing with anxiety. It's like the negative aspects of your life make it really bad. So getting rid of the medication and getting rid of the bad people makes me like a lot better person. I do take Xanax currently, not every day because it's highly addictive, but I take it maybe once a month because when I'm really anxious, or I know I have a big day coming up and I'm like, I need to sleep, I need to get rid of all the anxious thoughts in my head. So I do take that, and it makes me feel a lot better. School's going well, life's going well. Anxiety is one of those things that it never goes away, it's never gonna go away, but it kind of gets put on the back burner.